When it comes to classic American muscle, few names carry the same raw energy and rebellious spirit as Mopar. These weren't just cars, they were thunder on four wheels, born in an era when horsepower ruled the streets and wild styling turned heads at every stoplight. From drag strip legends to NASCAR-bred machines, Mopar delivered some of the most outrageous, powerful, and unforgettable muscle cars the world has ever seen. Today we're going to look at the amazing machines that truly defined Mopar performance. The ones that broke records, bent rules, and carved their names into muscle car history. So buckle up because we're diving into 10 of the most mind-blowing Mopar classics ever built, and each one has a story worth hearing. Number 10. The 1967 Plymouth GTX. The GTX was Plymouth's first attempt to bring together raw performance and upscale styling in one package. It came standard with the 440 Super Commando V8 engine, producing 375 horsepower and more than enough torque to get your attention. But it wasn't just about what was under the hood. The GTX offered a more polished look than other muscle cars. It came with a beautiful chrome trim, subtle badging, and interior upgrades like bucket seats and a center console. It gave buyers a way to enjoy serious power without sacrificing comfort. For those who wanted even more, the car also came with the 426 Hemi engine, making the GTX not just fast, but genuinely intimidating on the street. It never tried too hard to stand out, but between its clean design and big engine muscle, it didn't have to. Number 9. The 1969 Dodge Charger RT. Few cars from the muscle car era are as instantly recognizable as the 1969 Dodge Charger RT. From the hidden headlights to the sweeping roofline and wide taillight panel, its design became a lasting symbol of power and presence. But the looks were only part of the story. The Charger RT became standard with the 440 Magnum V8, and those who wanted even more could step up to the 426 Hemi. Both delivered serious straight-line speed backed by heavy-duty suspension and upgraded brakes to match the performance. Inside, the Charger RT offered a focused driving experience without losing the comfort expected from a full-size coupe. It was a car that balanced muscle and style in a way few others managed, and over the years its legacy has only grown stronger. Number 8. The 1970 Plymouth Cuda. By 1970, Plymouth was ready to make a statement, and the redesigned Cuda did exactly that. Now built on the new E-body platform, the car had a lower, wider stance and sharper lines that gave it a more aggressive presence. Engine options ranged from a 340 small block to the 440 six-pack, each delivering serious performance in its own right. The design was clean but purposeful. The car featured quad headlights, a bold grille, and detailed badging that set it apart. Inside, the driver-focused layout reinforced that this was a car built around performance. The Cuda didn't just look the part, it delivered with strong acceleration and a confident feel behind the wheel. Number 7. The 1970 Dodge Challenger TA. The 1970 Challenger TA was Dodge's response to the growing demand for a performance car that could also compete in professional racing, and it arrived with a clear purpose. Built to homologate Dodge's entry into the SCCA Trans Am series, the TA was more than a styling experience. Under the hood was a 340 cubic inch V8 fitted with a 6-pack carburetor setup, producing 290 horsepower, though many believe the actual output was notably higher. The TA featured a revised suspension setup, wider rear tires, and quick ratio steering that gave it confident handling at high speed. Visually, it stood apart from the rest of the Challenger lineup with a matte black fiberglass hood, bold side stripes, and a high-mounted rear spoiler that looked straight off of a race car. Though its production run was brief, the Challenger TA left a lasting impression. Number 6. The 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner. The 1969 Roadrunner was built on a simple philosophy: strip away the extras, focus on the essentials, and make performance accessible. And in that mission, it succeeded brilliantly. Plymouth targeted buyers who didn't care for frills, they just wanted something fast, loud, and fun. The base model came with a 383 V8 that delivered solid power and reliability, while options like the 440 6-barrel and 426 Hemi opened the door to serious street performance. What made the Roadrunner stand out wasn't just its engine choices though, it was the character. From the signature beep beep horn to its sleek styling, it embraced a personality that was playful yet aggressive. But that honesty gave it a certain charm, and more importantly, it kept the price low enough that younger fans could actually afford one. Number 5. The 1967 Dodge Coronet 440. Among Mopar's lineup in the late 60s, the Coronet 440 often flew under the radar, but it deserves more attention than it gets. Positioned between the entry-level models and the high-profile muscle variants, the Coronet 440 offered a compelling mix of straight-line performance and clean, confident styling. The 440 badge referred not to engine displacement but to its trim level, although buyers had the option of equipping it with the actual 440 Magnum V8. That setup produced 375 horsepower and gave the car a strong, consistent power band ideal for street use. Inside, it struck a balance between practicality and comfort, offering enough room to seat 5 but still delivering a focused driving experience. In many ways, the Coronet 440 represented the core of the Mopar philosophy. Give people power they can use, wrapped in a package that's honest, capable, and unmistakably American. Number 4. The 1970 Plymouth Hemikuda. If there's one car that sits at the pinnacle of Mopar performance, it's the 1970 Hemikuda. Built on the newly introduced E-body platform, this version of the Cuda wasn't just a step forward, it was a leap. With its wider stance, aggressive styling, and unmistakable presence, it looked like it belonged in the fast lane even while standing tall. But what truly defined the Hemikuda was what lay under that scooped hood, the legendary 426 Hemi. Rated at 425 horsepower, this engine had already earned its reputation on the drag strip. Every part of the build reflected that intent. From the beefed-up suspension to the heavy-duty drivetrain designed to handle the engine's brutal output, only a few hundred Hemikudas were built in 1970, which adds to their mystique today. Number 3. The 1970 Plymouth Superbird. The Superbird was unlike anything else on the road in 1970, and it was never meant to be subtle. Created specifically to dominate NASCAR, it featured a wind-tunnel tested nose cone, flush rear window, and a towering rear wing that sat 23 inches high. Under that body, it shared much of its DNA with the Roadrunner, but with a more focused mission. Buyers could choose from several power plants, but the most coveted option was the 426 Hemi, giving the Superbird both the aerodynamics and raw power needed to deliver results on the track. Even after decades, nothing else looks quite like it, and that's part of its enduring appeal. Number 2. The 1969 Dodge Daytona. Before the Superbird, there was the Daytona, the car that set the tone for Mopar's aerodynamics first philosophy in NASCAR. Built off the Dodge Charger platform, the Daytona was the first American car to break 200 miles per hour in NASCAR competition, and it did so with a purpose-built design unlike anything ever seen before. Power came from either the 440 Magnum or the 426 Hemi, both more than capable of turning the Daytona into a force on the oval or the highway. But beyond the numbers, the Daytona was Mopar's declaration that it was playing to win and not just on the racetrack. With only 503 units produced to meet homologation rules, it was rare from the start. Over time, it's become a symbol of engineering innovation during the height of the muscle car era. Number 1. The 1968 Dodge Hurst LO23 Hemi Dart. At the very top of this list sits a car that wasn't built for comfort, looks, or daily driving. It was built for one thing: domination at the drag strip. The 1968 Dodge Hurst Hemi Dart, known internally as the LO23, was as close to a factory race car as you could get without needing a trailer to bring it home. Dodge started with the already lightweight Dart body, stripped it down even further, and then handed it off to Hurst Performance for the final transformation. The doors, hood, and front fenders were replaced with fiberglass, the windows swapped for thin plexiglass, and seam sealer was omitted to save every possible ounce. Under the hood sat a hand-fitted 426 Hemi with dual 4-barrel carburetors, factory rated at 425 horsepower, but in reality, it was closer to 500. There was no insulation, no radio, no heater, just a roll bar and a single racing seat. With only 80 of these machines ever built, the Hurst Hemi Dart wasn't just Mopar's wildest creation, it was one of the most extreme muscle cars of the era. Which one of these Mopar cars do you think had more influence on American muscle cars? Also, which one would you buy if you could? Let us know in the comments section below, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from the car world. Check out our next video on racing 100 horsepower supercarts with incredible downforce.